Sup, everyone. Welcome to the holiday episode of the Flea Flicker. Joey D, it is Christmas weekend. So, first of all, to everybody watching, we hope you have a Merry Christmas, or if you celebrate Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, or another holiday, hope you've been having a good holiday season this year. But, Joey D, I've been home for about 30 minutes, and I've had no less than about 9 cookies right now from my mom. So, but, anyways, how are you doing today, my friend?
Tim, we're doing good. Christmas right around the corner. Spider-Man was
Oh,
fantastic.
so good.
It's been a fun week. Just finished Hawkeye as well. Gonna watch The Witcher on Christmas Day. It was
Oh,
Brooke's birthday on Saturday as well. We had a
oh.
great time. So, just kind of a jam-packed week. And then, there was some football crammed in there, and it wasn't great football for me this weekend, Tim. It was not great for I think really anyone, especially in fantasy.
It was a tough week in fantasy, so hopefully, for those had the bye, you probably were like, "Sweet, I got a bye." Doesn't even matter how bad my team is for others. I mean, I lost one playoff round by about point 0.2 points, but then I won a playoff game by about point 0.7 points. So it kind of balanced out. It worked out. So yeah, we are excited, Joey D, just to talk about this past week as well. You were 0 for 2 for both your lock and your upset. Your upset was the Panthers over the Bills. They could not do that. And then your lock of the week. Arizona Cardinals went into Detroit and laid an absolute egg. Game was not
Yeah.
even close. I mean, Lions went up 3-0, 10-0, 17-0, and they just held on, and credit to the Lions too. I mean, they've been playing some good ball this year. I mean, they probably should have beaten the Ravens, probably should have beaten the Vikings the first time. So they've been in a lot of games, just not winning in the end. Also, we're playing close to the 49ers week one. On my end, speaking of the 49ers, they were my lock of the week. And my upset of the week was the Bears on Monday Night Football. And they had chances. Believe me, Joe, they had chances and didn't work out for them. But do you have any other thoughts from this crazy week and week fantasy week from some of the elite players, I'll say, as well as some of the COVID stuff? Any other big takeaways or anything you want to briefly talk about from this past week?
Yeah, I mean, we've talked a little bit about how with the Cardinals, they've been playing great. They've been getting these wins. They were the number one seed,
Hmm.
but we just haven't seen. We've seen in the past them kind of crumble during the stretch, and for them to come out and lose to the Lions like they did, I think that's extremely concerning. And then another NFC powerhouse, the Buccaneers, getting shut out by the New Orleans
At home.
Saints at home. I mean, Tom Brady is 0-4 in the regular season against the Saints.
Yeah, but
And
he's
I
1
mean,
and 0 in the playoffs.
he is. So, maybe he'll have, he's got to make up for it at some point. I mean, but it was a rough game for the Buccaneers, not only just in terms of the score, but injuries, man. I mean, Chris
Yeah.
Godwin out for the year, Fournette likely to go on the IR, Mike Evans week to week with the hamstring. I mean, it was bad for the Buccaneers. I mean, a team that last year stayed so healthy throughout the season, and now they're struggling. So a little bit of a potential shakeup at the top of the NFC. I think right now the Packers own the number one seed. Um,
Yeah.
and again, just such a weird weekend of football. So it's really anyone's game. And we've talked about how there's no favorites in any conference. Like
No.
I still feel the exact same way, Tim. I mean, anyone has a shot in the playoffs this year, and I love that.
Yeah, and even in the NFC, the Packers, they played a tough game against my Ravens, which practice squad, secondary, Tyler Huntley as the quarterback. I mean, the Ravens were in a position to win. Again, we went for it. We went for two, didn't get it, and people are still criticizing Harbaugh, but the Packers had one timeout in 44 seconds to get in field goal range with Aaron Rodgers. So it's not like it was like the
Yeah.
Steelers where it was, legit win or lose with a couple of seconds left. But still, you know what? I like the decision. Play call was a little interesting, just going to Andrews on a comeback route in the very corner of the end zone. Interesting play call, but hey, I like that confidence that we have in our team to get the plays done. And as a Ravens fan, we've kind of lucked out this year. I mean, that Chiefs game, getting that late fumble, that Colts comeback, that Lions game. It's only a matter of time before some things didn't quite go our way, Joe.
Right.
But hey, we got a big slate of games, even a couple of games on Christmas. You ready to hop into some picks?
Tim, let's get into it, but let's share the record going into it this week.
Ah, yes, good. I did not have that written down, but Joe, we went both 10-6 this past week. We were opposite on 6 games, and we ended up both going 10-6 somehow. So I am still 6 games behind you. So whatever our records were on last episode, just add 10 wins and add 6 losses. So I don't know the exact number off the top of my head, but we both went 10-6 last week, and you still have +6 on me for this season.
That is impressive that with all the different games we
Yeah.
had, still ended up having the same record.
Hey, that's the beauty of it, and we both had a winning record, 10-6, definitely a playoff caliber team. And
There
crunching
we
the
go.
numbers, I believe our winning percentage is somewhere around 60%. So I'll take that for picking games each and every season. But we got, what was it, week 16 or which week 16?
Week 16.
Week
Yep.
6 week 16 in the NFL season, starting off with Thursday Night Football. And we know this is coming out after the game, but it is currently 6:11 on Thursday. So we were making this pick beforehand. We got the San Francisco 49ers on the road at the Tennessee Titans. 49ers are a 3.5 point road favorite. The over-under is, let me check it out, over-under is 45. So Joey D, 49ers playing some good ball recently. Titans are, kind of struggling, kind of kind of crawling into the playoffs, especially without Derrick Henry. But thoughts on who's your pick in tonight's game?
Yeah, I mean, these are two teams that it feels like are going in kind of opposite directions. I mean, the Titans, they
Hmm.
when they lost Derrick Henry, they lost a huge part of their team's identity. And, they've struggled to really find it again since. I mean, they've just kind of been sputtering. The defense has been overachieving, but the offense has not been able to consistently move the ball and score the points like they had been. And on the flip side, the
Yeah.
Niners are just kind of playing bully ball. They're running the football, playing very physical football. Defense is playing great. Despite a lot of injuries in the secondary, that front seven is really making a lot of plays. So I just feel better about the 49ers right now. I think this game could go either way. I think they're two pretty evenly matched teams, but I just feel better about the brand of football that the Niners are playing
Mhm.
right now. I mean, Debo's playing well. Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle's going off. Jeff Wilson's coming off one of his best games ever. And then, you look at the Titans, everything's kind of looking not so great. So, I'm just kind of riding the hot hand right now. I'll go to San Francisco. I'll be rooting for the Titans because the 49ers loss helps the Eagles. But the Titans, I need them to keep winning in their division so the Colts don't make it. But I don't know. I don't feel great about them right now, Tim. I'll take the 49ers.
Yeah, I'm going with the 49ers as well. I think, and we've been saying this for the last month and a half or so, as long as Debo and George Kittle are healthy, 49ers are a legit threat to maybe make the Super Bowl. I mean, they made it a couple of years ago, and then you add Debo Samuel to that roster. So as long as
Hey,
they're healthy,
He was on that Super Bowl team.
was he? Was he?
Yeah, he was probably gonna be MVP of that game before Patrick Mahomes hit that bomb to Tyreek Hill because Debo was going off in that game.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess he's been in the league
Come
longer
on,
than I
Tim.
thought. Hey, man, he was playing at South Carolina after I graduated. All right, time, is not a thing after graduating college. But either way, like I said, they're both healthy. I'm going with them. And then a key thing is the Titans are without their left tackle, Taylor Lewan, and their left
Mm.
guard. And you mentioned that front seven of the 49ers. They are going to feast on that blind side of Ryan Tannehill. No Derrick Henry is a huge loss to them still. I don't think that they can get the ball moving. A.J. Brown might be back. I don't know. I just think everything is leading 49ers, and I think that they're going to go in because they have a couple of tough games to end the season. So, getting that extra rest, Christmas holiday, I like the 49ers. And speaking of that Christmas holiday, Joe, we got 2 games on Christmas Saturday. Starting off, we got the Cleveland Browns at the Green Bay Packers. Right now, the Packers are a 7.5 point favorite, and the over under is 46. Browns coming off after a comeback win from the Raiders on Monday night, previously scheduled from Saturday to Monday because of some COVID stuff, and they lost. Ha ha!
Yeah,
Take that,
yeah, I
Cleveland.
got that one.
Yeah, you did get that one. I unfortunately did not, but the Packers are playing some good ball. They're at home. So, Joe, Browns, Packers. I mean, Browns could still be a little injured, a little COVID-y, but I still don't think I'm going with the Packers in this one. It's at home. Aaron Rodgers is tied with Brett Favre for pass touchdowns of all time. What better way to break that right? Well, I mean, he only needs one. I mean, odds are in his favor, but what better way to do that than Christmas afternoon in Lambeau Field? It's going to be a great time. Packers now have the number one seed, so all they need to do is win out. So I like the Packers in this one. And I think Cleveland is, I don't know if it's even going to be close, but you know what? The Ravens ran the ball pretty well. 2 weeks ago, the Bears moved the ball, ran the ball pretty well. So, I mean, the Browns do have that talent in the running game, but I think Aaron Rodgers and that offense is going to be too much for that Browns defense. I'm going with the Packers. Joe, how about yourself?
Yeah, I pretty much feel the same way, Tim. My concern with the Packers would just be that ground game for Cleveland, and if they're able to kind of control the flow of
Mhm.
the game and clock management. I mean, Nick Chubb, he's kind of due to go off, so I wouldn't be shocked. But I just feel a lot better about the Packers right
Yeah.
now. I mean, they're not even at full strength. I mean, David Bakhtiari should be getting back healthy at some point soon. Same with Jair Alexander, and they're still finding ways to win, and honestly playing some of their best ball right now in December, which is exactly what the best teams do. So Packers are riding high, playing hot going into December. Browns are not. I mean, January is right around the corner. It's I think it's going to be a long day for Cleveland. I mean, Aaron Rodgers, I'm pretty sure last year against who it might have been against the Titans in the snow in either late December, early January. The Packers went off, and I had Derrick Henry in my fantasy championship and went up against Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams, and it did not work out for me, Tim. So this is the time of year where Aaron Rodgers brings joy to Packers fans, and just lots of coal and you know not great Christmas tidings for his opponents. So Browns are going down, Tim. Give me the Packers.
Hey, love that, love that. And then now going into the Christmas night game, and when this was announced, when the schedule came out, with the Colts at the Cardinals, I mean, we all thought Browns Packers, all that hype. We thought that would be a good game, no doubt about that. When they scheduled the Colts and the Cardinals, everybody was like, this could either be a really good game or a really bad game. But both teams are playing some good ball. I know the Cardinals just lost to the Lions, but they're still leading the division, still believe the number two or number three seed in the NFC. Colts are one of the hottest teams in the NFL, just running all over the Patriots. And if the Titans lose and they win, they now control kind of their own destiny to win that division. The Titans can clinch the division if they win tonight on Thursday and the Colts lose on Saturday. But if the Colts win, there's a little bit of a flip flop. Titans, of course, do have the tiebreaker, beating them twice, but still, Joe, we got the Colts at the Cardinals. Colts playing some good ball. Cardinals, despite the loss, still playing some good ball. Not that great at home, Joe, but the Cardinals are a 1 point favorite currently at the time of recording. The over under is 49, excuse me. So, Joe, Colts, Cardinals, Carson Wentz, Jonathan Taylor, Kyler Murray, James Conner. Thoughts on who's your pick?
Yeah, this is a tough one, Tim. Like you said, Colts are, one of the hottest teams playing really well right now. I mean, Jonathan Taylor's been doing it all for that entire offense. I mean, Wentz threw five passes last week,
Yeah.
50 yards, one touchdown, one interception. So, obviously they didn't need him to do much, but I think that also goes to show a little bit of the lack of faith that they might have had in Carson Wentz to not really want to put the ball in his hands against the Patriots. This Cardinals defense is also very opportunistic, Tim. I don't think that it's going to be that same type game plan. I think Wentz is going to be asked to do a little bit more. I feel like it should be the Colts in this game. I mean, they're playing well.
Mm.
Their defense is playing really well too. And the Cardinals have been sputtering. I'm going to take the Cardinals though, Tim, mainly because I really, really want the Colts to lose this game. I feel like they're due for a loss. I don't think it's the logical pick on my part, but I'm making the pick anyway, Tim. The Arizona Cardinals coming out with the win, putting a stop to this Colts win streak and kind of righting the ship for them. I mean, they have to get right after coming off this loss to Detroit. I mean, they cannot just didn't they lose the week prior as well? Was that against or did they win against the Rams?
They lost to the Rams because it was a home game. Yeah, so back to back losses.
Yeah. Yeah, so I find it hard to see, them losing three in a row at this point when, these are games that they have to have if they want to still get that number one seed, which they really lost their stranglehold on. So I'm gonna take the Cardinals here. I just feel like they've got a lot more firepower. I trust Kyler more. But again, I could definitely see the Colts winning this one, unfortunately, Tim.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't feel good about this, but I'm going to go with the Cardinals to win this one. I agree with you. I think well, we said last week it's a get right that game after a loss playing the Lions. That this is a game that's more or less a must win. I mean, losing three in a row, two games you probably should have won. Maybe we'll see. But also, I think a big thing is I'm in the fantasy semifinals against my dad. I have Jonathan Taylor. I'm already too heavily invested in this Colts and the Colts offense, which can be a little inconsistent at times. So I'm just going to go with the Cardinals. That way, maybe if that doesn't have a good game, I can still win a game here for these standings. So I'm going to go with the Cardinals as well. Don't feel good about it, but hey, you know what? We can't win them all. We cannot win them all, Joe. And now let me scroll down the sheet real quick. We got Sunday football, week 16. We're starting off with the Jacksonville Jaguars at the New York Jets. The Jets are currently a 1 point home favorite. Over under is 41.5. Joe, this is an ugly game. We said last week the Texans and Jaguars would likely be that game on red zone that we wouldn't see, but that was quite the opposite. We saw them quite often in a like 34 to the 24 type game. But this time we got the Jaguars at the Jets going up into a cold New York. Joe, thoughts on who's your pick in this Jags Jets game?
Yeah, I mean, this is another ugly game. I think it could go really either way. But I'm going to take the Jaguars in this one. I feel like no Urban Meyer. They're feeling a little bit better. James Robinson's getting a little bit more involved, and it just seems like they're a team that they want to they don't necessarily have something to fight for, but they have something to prove. Like this has been a rough year for them. A lot of distractions. They got rid of the root of their problem.
Hmm.
Now they're just focusing on football. So I think that this is a game that they can win. So I'm going to take them to win this one. While I think it's a game the Jets can also absolutely win as well. I won't be shocked if it goes either way, but I'll take the Jaguars in this one, Tim. Let's see something from Trevor and that offense.
Hey, yeah, we get the number one pick versus the number two pick of this year's draft going up. I'm going to go opposite of you, just so I can gain some games. I'm going to go with the New York Jets in this one. Not a
Or
game
lose
that I
some
feel
games.
good about, but you know what? I'm going to go with the Jets to win. They're at home, New York, a little bit cold in late December. Jacksonville, not too cold. It's in Florida. That's going to play a factor in the game, obviously. So I'm going to go with the Jets to win. And this is a interesting game between two teams in the NFC that are both eliminated. We got the Detroit Lions coming off a huge win, huge upset. They're going on the road to the Atlanta Falcons right now, and the Falcons are a 5.5 point favorite at home. Over under is set at 42.5. And Joe, I don't know if you know this, but the Falcons are one of the better teams with a losing record against teams 500 or above. They're like 2-4, 2-5, and then teams below 500, they're like 4-2 or like 5-1 or something like that. So they can beat teams that are not as good as them, but when they play some higher competition. But as I said at the beginning of this, the Lions are playing some good ball. I mean, if they beat the Ravens, if they beat the Vikings that first time, if they beat the Steelers, we're looking at a 5-6 win Lions team right now. But we got Lions Falcons. Joe, who's your pick in this one?
Yeah, this is a tough one. Like you said, Lions are playing well. Falcons have been kind of inconsistent, but like you said, they've been able to beat the teams that are not good. It's a tough one. I could see it going either way. This is not great, Tim. I'm gonna
Yeah.
take the Falcons. I'm gonna take the Falcons in this one just because I feel like a lot of people are gonna be really high on the Lions after that win last week. And like you said, Falcons do well against inferior opponents, but not well against the top competition. So I think this is a game the Falcons can win. So I think that they should be able to bring this one home.
Yeah, I'm going with the Falcons as well. I would like to ride high with the Lions, but I know if I pick the Lions, then it's going to be 45-10 Falcons, and so I got to go with the Falcons as well. Joe, I think this could be a fun game to watch. Hopefully, it could be a high scoring game, and we just see two teams that aren't so great, but it's a fun game like that Texans Jaguars game last week. Hopefully, we can get that in Atlanta. And then we got an AFC matchup. We got the Chargers at the Texans. The Chargers are a 10-point road favorite. The over-under is 45.5. So I thought about the Texans as my upset of the week a little bit. I think because we've talked about the Chargers' inconsistent playing. Texans are known to pull off an upset. They beat the Titans this year, almost pulled it off against the Patriots in the first half. So the Texans are capable of pulling this off, but I just got to go with the Chargers in this one. I think based on what I saw from last Thursday night, after I got out of Spider-Man, great movie by the way. The Chargers still look pretty good. Went to overtime. I just don't think there's enough firepower from this Texans offense right now. Davis Mills is looking pretty good, but I don't think it's going to be enough against this Chargers defense, getting a couple of extra days of rest as well. So I'm going with the Chargers in this one. Joe, how about yourself?
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Chargers too. I think I'm gonna make this my lock of the week, Timmy B.
Ooh.
Um, Chargers, this is a game that they cannot afford to come out flat and have this be a trap game for them.
Hmm.
They're still right there in the mix, in the thick of it, in the wild card, and potentially for their division. If the Chiefs end up slipping up, so these are games that they have to have, and they've got a great matchup this week against the Texans. I think that it's going to be a pretty easy day for the Chargers. Only concern would be some of these COVID cases they've had. I think that Eckler went on the list and
Hmm.
may or may not play. Guyton went on the list. So we'll see who's available, but I still feel good about the Chargers over the Texans, and yeah, I'll take them 10 times out of 10. Timmy B.
Ooh, all right, all right. A lot riding on the Chargers in this one. Now an interesting game with an interesting Vegas line, Joe. We got your Philadelphia Eagles. They got the New York Giants coming into town. So back-to-back home division games for the Eagles. Eagles are currently a 10-point favorite at home against the Giants. The over-under is 40 and a half. A couple of weeks ago, Joe, when the Eagles went up to the Meadowlands, Eagles were a 7-point favorite and they had to claw their way to victory. Jalen Hurts had a terrible day, throwing a bunch of interceptions. But at I'm sorry, they lost that game, Joe,
They did. They
because
did. I wasn't
Jalen,
gonna correct you.
yeah, because I mean Jalen Rager wasn't catching the football. But
That's
yeah,
right.
so Joe, 10-point favorite at home. Of course, since a couple weeks ago, the teams have changed a little bit. But you guys started slow against the football team on Tuesday night. You guys got back to victory. So, what are your thoughts from this game? And are you picking? I mean, obviously, you got to pick the Eagles, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Eagles, Tim. I mean, I'm definitely not taking the Giants as lightly as I did the first time, just because that defense played so well against the Eagles' offense. I mean, we had been running the
Hmm.
ball like crazy. I mean, we still have. We've been able to run for over 175 yards in 8 straight games. That ties with the 1985 Chicago Bears,
Hmm.
a pretty good football team, if you recall, Timmy
Yeah,
B.
they did win a Super
Um,
Bowl.
they did indeed. While I don't know if the Eagles are up to that caliber, they don't exactly have that 85 Bears defense. I think this is a game that our defense should still be able to
Hmm.
control. I mean, no Daniel Jones. It's going to be either Mike Glennon or Jake Fromm, and I think that's ultimately why we're favored by so much. Plus, being at home, coming off of a game that got delayed, and that's my other concern for this, Tim. I mean, the Eagles were supposed to play on Sunday and have
Hmm.
7 days of rest. Now we have to play on Tuesday and we only get 5 days of rest. So these guys are going to be sore. I'm hoping for no injuries of any sort, but that's definitely my concern. Coming off of such a short week, and having to play another divisional opponent, it's going to take a physical toll on these guys. But I feel good about what Nick Sirianni has been doing. I still think that our offense can do more. I would like to see more from Jalen, but we've been running the ball so effectively. There's no reason to stop. So let's just run the ball down the Giants' throat, play good defense, and force Mike Glennon or Jake Fromm to beat you with their arms, which they're not going to do. So give me the Eagles, Timmy B.
Yeah, I'm going with the Eagles as well. Just hope that Jalen Hurts continues to take away Miles Sanders touchdowns. And my fantasy semifinal against my dad, he has Miles Sanders. So, Eagles win, but nothing from Miles Sanders. Joe, can you live with that?
Hey, Tim, he has the most scrimmage yards this season without a touchdown. He's got like
Good,
almost 800 yards, no
good.
touchdowns.
Let's get
Um,
let's get him one carry,
I'd be
three
all right with
yards.
it.
Yeah, let's do it. We'll get the Eagles the win, but we'll take away Miles Sanders and his touchdowns. And
All Jalen.
now, Joe, we got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the Carolina Panthers. Buccaneers 10-point favorite on the road. The over under is set at 43. Joe, this is going to be my lock of the week. I'm going to go with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as my lock of the week. I think after scoring 0 points at home on Sunday Night Football, and then all these injuries, everybody's saying, well, can Tom do it without Godwin and maybe without Evans and without Fournette? I think this is going to be like that Tom Brady like greatness game, being like, I'll show you what I can do. Like I think he's going to be like, I still got it. Like I'm not an old man. I don't need Mike Evans or Chris Godwin or Fournette. I mean, Ronald Jones, very good running back. Keyshawn Vaughn as well, very good. They still have Gronk maybe. So I'm going with the Bucks as the lock of the week. There,
And Antonio Brown will be back.
Antonio Brown coming back as well. Le'Veon Bell. So I'm going with the Bucks. No way they lose back-to-back division games in December. I'm going with the Bucks, Joe.
Yeah, I feel good about the Bucks as well for pretty much all the same reasons, Tim. I mean, you said it coming off of that shutout, they're going to be coming out angry. Tom has played really well with much worse weapons than what he's going to go out with on Sunday.
Hmm.
So I like you said, I think that he's going to go off, have a big game. Hopefully it's all to Antonio Brown. I picked him up in our fantasy league,
Oh,
which I'm in the semifinals and now have him in my starting lineup against our very own Trenton Hunter, who has Mike Evans in his starting lineup. So going to be interesting to see how that goes. Really hoping Evans doesn't play and Antonio Brown just feasts all game, Tim. So give me the Bucks as well. Go AB.
hey, you know what I'm going with the Buccaneers as well, Joe. Now we got my Baltimore Ravens going up at the Cincinnati Bengals. Bengals are a 3.5 point home favorite. Over under is 45. They kicked our booty couple about week 5 or week 6, couple of weeks ago. I guess a couple months ago now. And I don't see that being any different this time. I think the Bengals are right now a much better football team. They're more healthy than us. According to Joe Burrow, Cincinnati doesn't have much of a nightlife, so they're not getting COVID. Just great quote. He was just like, "Yeah, there's like nothing to do here." I think even Ocho Cinco said it back in the day. He's like, "Yeah, I would love to go out, but I just can't. Like it's Cincinnati. Like what else?" And I mean, and look at it too. Some of these teams that are testing positive are a couple of both LA teams, the Rams, Chargers, a couple of Florida teams, some New Yorkers. So it is interesting. And I mean, Kansas City, a couple of them have been testing. We'll talk about them in just a couple of minutes, but they were just at the Chargers on Thursday night, had a long weekend, staying in LA. It's not saying, we're connecting the dots here, but it's like you can kind of connect the dots. But I like the Bengals in this game, Joe. I mean, I would much rather just lose out, get a better draft pick than being a wild card team being like, we could still do it because we can't. Like there's just no shot. I mean, if we do, that's great. That's fantastic. But I just don't see us making a deep playoff run. So might as well get a better draft pick while we can. Who knows if it's going to be Tyler Huntley or Lamar Jackson? Doesn't matter either way. I mean, that Bengals got to Lamar last time, only rushing 4 or 5 guys. Wink Martindale, our defensive coordinator, said he will not be double teaming or triple teaming Jamar Chase, uh, like we did with Devontae Adams last week, because he said Devontae Adams is the best wide receiver in the NFL, and he has a Hall of Fame quarterback, and we're not ready to give Joe Burrow the golden jacket. But when you get 8 catches for 200 yards and a touchdown, you should probably double team him the next time you play him, Joe. That's just me, though. That's just me. So I'm going with the Bengals in this one. Joe, who's your pick and thoughts on this game?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the biggest matchup is those offensive weapons for the Bengals
Hmm.
against a depleted Ravens secondary. I mean, it's not just Jamar Chase. Like
Yeah,
CJ Uzama went off in that game against you guys.
right.
So I'm starting him in both my fantasy leagues,
Oh,
Tim.
good
Um,
call.
yeah. So I feel good about that Bengals offense just, really not being hindered or slowed down by this Ravens defense. It'll be interesting to see how the Ravens offense performs. Is it going to be Huntley, and will he be able to continue having the success he's had? I mean, it's been really impressive. A kid comes out undrafted, I think from where, Utah
Utah,
State.
yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean, no real expectations, but wins the number 2 job, and now has played pretty well in relief of Lamar Jackson. So that's just kind of an interesting storyline to watch. How he continues to play, and if not, is it Lamar, and is Lamar healthy? So I think that with those questions on the Ravens offensive side, and with us feeling good about the Bengals matchup against the Ravens defense, yeah, I think it's got to be the Bengals in this one.
Yeah, absolutely, and we'll see. I mean, if we win, great, but if not, hey, the Bengals winning that would more or less clinch the division because, I mean, unless like the Browns beat them and win a couple of games. So, as long as it's not the Browns or Steelers, I'll be okay rooting for Joey B in the playoffs. And then we got another 1 o'clock, a lot of 1 o'clock games this week. We got the Los Angeles Rams at the Minnesota Vikings. Rams are a 3.5 point favorite. The over under is at 49. Joe, just looking at the rest of the games that I have written down, I don't know who else for my upset of the week. So I got to go with Kirk Cousins and
Uh-oh.
the Vikings in this one. I don't feel good about it, but just looking at these other games, uh, I feel more confident in the Vikings. So I'm going to go with the Vikings as the upset of the week. I mean, I think they're playing some pretty decent ball right now, and if Dalvin Cook plays, great. Even better if not, not the end of the world. So I'm going with the Vikings as my upset of the week. Joe, Rams, Vikings. Dawson, who you got?
Yeah, it's a big game for the Eagles with the Vikings owning I think the seventh seed right now in the
Oh,
wild
okay.
card for the NFC. So Eagles really need the Vikings to lose this game. So I'm going to be rooting for the Rams. I'm going to pick the Rams. I think they're just the better team overall for sure. I mean, it's Jalen Ramsey. I think will do a very good job against Justin Jefferson. Maybe if Justin Jefferson goes off this week, we
Yeah,
can say he's a better draft pick than Jalen Rager. Maybe we'll see. I'm not ready to say that
we got
just
to
yet,
crunch the
Tim.
numbers a little bit more. Yeah, yeah.
That's right. That's right. Um, but then also Aaron Donald. I mean, let's not forget him and Leonard Floyd also. Or wait, who am I thinking? Leonard Floyd. He's on the Bears, right?
No, he's on the Rams now. He,
Who's that Bears? The Bears pass rusher? Robert Quinn.
Robert
Robert
Quinn.
Quinn.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I'm so sorry,
Well, Leonard
listeners.
Floyd
I
was
got
on the
all
Bears.
these
He
old pass
he was
rushers
drafted by the
confused.
Bears, and
Yeah.
then he went to the Rams. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, no, got them all mixed up, Tim. But we're good. But that defense for the Rams, I think, is going to do a really good job against the Vikings. Kirk Cousins is going to Kirk Cousins, and Cooper Cup, man, he cannot be stopped. I mean, are we really expecting this Vikings defense to stop him after nobody has? I mean, he literally might beat Calvin Johnson's receiving yardage record.
Yeah, he's
So
like
I'm going to take
350
the
yards away
Rams.
or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and let's I think we got to give Matt Stafford
Yeah.
some credit. He's been the quarterback for
I
both Calvin Johnson and Cooper Cup.
I saw a
Are
TikTok
having
where
these.
he was like reading off the stats for both of them, and then he was like, "You want to know what they have in common?" And he was like, and then it was like a long pause. And he goes, "Matt Stafford was the quarterback," and
Yep.
that's why I'm excited. And we talked about it when he got traded to the Rams. I'm like, finally, he looks like he might be able to win a playoff game or two in LA. So I think he's happy, and he's still got a lot of gas in the tank. I mean, this is not a 1, 2, or 3 year thing with Matt Stafford. I mean, he is getting a little bit older, but with him and McVay, I think this could be 4, 5, or 6 years instead of a 1, 2, or 3 kind of short term problem. So hopefully Matt Stafford can get a couple more playoff wins to solidify, I think, a Hall of Fame career.
Yeah, I think that it's not sure how much time they do have though with
Right.
all of these contracts, these lack of draft picks. Eventually, the Pipers are gonna come piping, Tim. And it's gonna there's gonna be a reckoning for the Rams at some point with all of these moves that they've made. I mean, they've pushed all their chips to the center of the table and are going all in. So I hope for their sake that they're able to get something out of all of this, but remains to be seen. But if they're that caliber of a team, they should be able to take care of business against the Vikings and Kirk Cousins.
Hey, love that. Should be a fun game to watch. And then we got final 1 o'clock game of the day. We got basically the AFC East championship game. We got the Bills at the Patriots. The Patriots are a 2 point favorite at home. The over under is 44. And if the Bills win, they get in first place by virtue of tie. Especially if they win out, they control their own destiny because of that week 1 loss to the Dolphins from the Patriots. The Bills have beaten the Jets once, beaten the Dolphins twice, and they play the Jets in Week 18, of course. So as long as they win that game, they'll definitely win the division by virtue of having a better inter-division winner. So this is really the AFC East championship game here, Joe. Patriots 2 point favorite at home. Over under is 44. They played a couple of weeks ago Monday Night Football in a monsoon and windy. Patriots ran the ball like 500 times, won the game. They had the better game plan, but can the Bills do it? Can they go into first Foxborough and win this game? Joe, thoughts? And who's your pick?
Tim, I'm taking the Patriots. I've said it just about every week the last couple of weeks, Tim. I'm not taking Buffalo anymore after they lost to the Jaguars 6-9. I don't trust them. I don't want them to win. I don't want their fans to be happy. I want them to lose every game for the rest of the Buffalo Bills career. So give me the Patriots. I also feel like they're just the better team and going to win anyway.
Yeah, Joe.
Not a whole lot of logical analysis coming from me on this one, Tim.
Yeah, I don't have too much logical analysis either, but I think At the end of the day, we got Bill Belichick in a must-win game for the division. I'm going to go with the Patriots for this one at home. The Bills are definitely more than capable of winning this game, but we've
Yeah.
seen time and time again, Bills are playing some big time games, and they don't deliver. We got Bill Belichick on the opposite sideline. I got to go with the Patriots as well in this one, for sure, Joe. And now we're moving on to the 4 o'clock slate. We got the Chicago Bears at the Seattle Seahawks. Bears were eliminated with their loss Monday night against the Vikings. Seahawks aren't eliminated yet, but they still need a lot of help and a lot of wins. Seahawks are a 6.5 point favorite at home. Over under is 43. Justin Fields versus Russell Wilson. Joey D, you're the NFC expert. Thoughts on who's your pick?
Tim, I'm gonna take the Bears as my upset. We're gonna rock with Justin Fields and the Bears and just kind of see what happens here. Just because I need to take an upset, I was thinking this team
As
kind of
someone who
kind of
took the
makes sense.
Bears as his upset of the week last week against the Vikings on Monday night, it was pretty painful to watch them have so many
Yeah,
opportunities and not deliver. But I respect the pick.
I mean, Seattle has just not looked good. I mean, they should be getting Tyler Lockett back. I hope. It's a big game for my fantasy. I got Lockett and I got David Montgomery.
Okay.
So definitely need this to be a high scoring game against Trenton. But Seahawks have just not been good at all this year. I mean, the vibes have not been there. They've been inconsistent. We have not seen the ground game take off. The
Hmm.
passing game has sputtered. No Jamal Adams. Even when he was in, he wasn't very good. Like what is there to really be excited about or optimistic about moving forward with
Right.
Seattle? Not a lot in my mind. And I just feel like they're checked out. I mean, Russell Wilson is older, he's a veteran. I think he's going to want to move on. You look at the Bears on the flip side, I still don't feel great about them, but Justin Fields, he's a rookie quarterback who has shown some flashes and some things that can make the team and fans a little bit more encouraged and optimistic about the outlook. So I think that they've just got a little bit more positive energy going into this game, while
Mhm.
Seattle is kind of desperate, but also kind of like whatever. This is
Right.
probably it for us anyway. So yeah, I think it could go either way, but I'll take the Bears.
I need to gain some games on you, so I'm gonna go with the Seahawks in this one. Like your Patriots pick, no logic. I just need to go opposite of you, Joe.
I'm shocked you did not take the Colts against the Cardinals,
I
Tim.
wanted to, but I'm very invested in that Colts game already in fantasy. So the last thing I need is to watch the Cardinals win like 28-6 and just have them stop Jonathan Taylor. I'm like, well, great. Now that I lost fantasy, I also lost the pick with Joe. Like,
It would be
so
beautiful.
yeah, I just couldn't do that to myself. But then a huge AFC wildcard matchup in the division. We get the Denver Broncos at the Raiders right now. Broncos are a 1 point favorite going up in Vegas. Over under is 41.5. Joe, I'm going to go with the Broncos in this one. I think the Raiders, played a decent game against the Browns. They squeaked out a win, but I think Vic Fangio and this defense is going to be able to contain Derek Carr and that offense. Except for Hunter Renfro, hopefully he goes off for 15 catches and a billion yards and a couple of touchdowns for fantasy. But I like the Broncos in this one. It might be Drew Lock, probably. We don't
It
know, but
is,
it
yeah.
is Drew Lock. So yeah, I mean,
It is.
this is Drew's time to shine, baby. It's Vegas. This is where he belongs, and I'm just going to go with the Broncos. Again, not too much logic in this one, but I just like the Broncos in this one.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go opposite on you with this one, Tim. I'm gonna take. I mean, Drew Lock when he's been in there, he turns the ball over a lot. I mean, he's a real high boomer bust type guy.
Right.
He'll make some big plays. He'll also take some big negative plays.
Hmm.
And this Raiders defense has been opportunistic. Max Crosby going to his first Pro Bowl. There's a lot of guys on this Raiders defense that can take advantage. And Derek Carr is a smart quarterback. I think he'll take care of the football and do ultimately enough to get the win. But I think it'll be a close game. And I think maybe come down to special teams. And
Hmm.
they're Daniel Carlson having a great season. I don't think he was the AFC Pro Bowl kicker. Was it Justin Tucker?
Joe, is
It was
that even a
Justin Tucker?
question? It was Justin
Man,
Tucker, man.
man, shout out my man's Jake Elliott, bro. He got snubbed. Are you kidding me? He got snubbed. Javon Hargrave got snubbed. Lane Johnson always snubbed. Ah, man. It's all good, Tim. I'm not mad about it.
I
I'm not
can't
mad
believe
about
you
it.
you thought Justin Tucker would not be the Pro Bowler in
Hey,
the
hey,
AFC.
Nick Folk is the number one fantasy football kicker this year, for the NFL, and Daniel Carlson's like number 2 or 3. I thought it was a fair question.
Did
Why isn't Justin Tucker up there in fantasy, Tim?
because we don't kick extra points, Joe. Have you not?
That's right. That's right. Your own coach doesn't have enough faith in him to kick the field goals, but he's just getting this Pro Bowl nod because of the name, Tim.
Hey,
Just the name.
Herm Edwards, you play to win the game. And that's what the Ravens have been doing. It didn't work out. But hey, talk to me when Daniel Carlson or Nick Folk kicks a 66-yard field goal to win the game. So I'll just leave that there.
Hey, Jake Elliott did a 63-yarder his rookie
That's
season.
close
His,
enough.
his rookie season, walk off against the Giants, and that was the Super Bowl year.
Yeah, you know what? And you know what? Again, Justin Tucker, this poster behind me, 2012 championship season, his rookie season. So that's something that the teams have in common.
They won the Super Bowl that year.
Yeah, it was
Dang,
Justin Tucker
I'm so glad you said that. I was just about to chirp you and him, be like, "Does Justin Tucker have a Super Bowl?" What
being
an
like,
idiot!
yeah,
I
in
would have
his
looked
rookie
like.
year.
Oh god.
But anyways, enough about Pro Bowl kickers, Joe. We got the Pittsburgh Steelers at the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs have a couple of COVID issues with Tyreek Hill, maybe Travis Kelsey. Patrick Mahomes seems to be fine right now, as well as the running backs. So they at least got that going for them. But the Chiefs are an 8.5 point home favorite. The over under is 45. Joe, even with all the COVID stuff, I'm still going with the Chiefs in this one. And I think a big thing is the way that their defense has been playing in the last couple of weeks. And Steve Spagnuolo came up with a good defensive plan. If they were playing, maybe not the Steelers offense, maybe I pick them to lose, but I think this Chiefs defense is going to be a little too much for Big Ben and the rest of that offense. Although the Steelers offense has been playing pretty well the last couple of weeks, I think the Chiefs are going to have a good defensive game plan, believe it or not, against the Steelers offense. And then I like Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid to still do enough against a very tough Steelers defense. I like the Chiefs in this one. Joe, how about yourself?
Yeah, I saw a stat this year or this week that Steelers defense has not been very good against the run this year. They're, I want to say, like 23rd or
Yeah.
27th, something like that. They've been susceptible, and Clyde Edwards-Helaire has been kind of starting to bounce back a little bit. I think with potentially no Tyreek Hill and no Travis Kelsey, they will have to rely on the ground game a little bit more. And I think that if they are able to work the ground game, then that's going to open up the pass for Patrick Mahomes off play action so much more, and just really be able to make that Steelers defense pay. I mean, they're an opportunistic defense as well, but they take a lot of gambles, and Patrick Mahomes is someone who can really make you pay when you bite a little bit too much. And I think that that's kind of what we're going to see. And like you said, this defense has been playing really well. Came out last week. We thought that no Chris Jones, the defense was going to kind of come to a halt. They still found a way to play well and get the win. So I think that him coming back is huge. Going up against not a very good Steelers offense, I think this should be a game the Chiefs can win pretty handily with or without those guys, Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelsey.
Yeah, and it comes with that Steelers defensive game plan. You have T.J. Watt, you have some great defensive linemen, but with their scheme, they're very aggressive, and it's like no duh. T.J. Watt has a billion sacks, but it's like, can they stop the run when you're focused on getting to the quarterback? And I think that's part of the reason why they struggle so much against the run is that they're very good against in their pass rush, and it's like, well, you might have good defensive linemen, but you also need to be good against the run. That but hey, credit to T.J. Watt, my pick for Defensive Player of the Year from a preseason. So hopefully that sticks because the next team, Joe, has a couple of good defensive players, and it's the
Oh
Dallas
no.
Cowboys. Sunday Night Football, we got the Washington football team at the Dallas Cowboys. Cowboys
Oh,
are a 10.5 point home favorite. Over under is 47. Joe, football team, as you know, with the Eagles have a couple of COVID issues. We could be seeing Garrett Gilbert again. I don't know the status of Heineke or Kyle
I think
Allen.
he's back. I
Heineke
think
is back.
Heineke's
Okay.
activated.
Either way, Joe, that's not going to be enough against the Cowboys here. Sunday Night Football in Dallas. We got Micah Parsons, potentially Defensive Rookie of the Year, likely Defensive Rookie of the Year, maybe even Defensive Player of the Year, joining a select couple of other elite defenders to do Defensive Rookie and Defensive Player of the Year. I think that, I mean, the offense is not playing well, Joe, in Dallas right now, but I think that defense is just going to be too much for Taylor Heineke. It was a couple of weeks ago. I think that's going to be the case even now. We'll see if the football team, brings their benches. They brought them to Philadelphia, so we'll see after a loss if they bring them to Dallas. But I'm going to go with the Cowboys in this one.
They left those benches in Philadelphia, Tim. They didn't even bring them back. Um, that just goes to show the quality of their team and their character. Ah, I don't want to do it, but I'm going to take the Cowboys. I mean, it's a better offense and a better defense
Yeah.
going up against not a very good offense and not a very good defense. Ultimately, but it is a divisional game. Anything can happen. We've seen a lot stranger things happen before. We could see vintage Taylor Heineke, kind of show up out of nowhere. Terry McLaurin have a big game, expose Trayvon Diggs for the fraud that he is, please. I really hope that Washington wins. I'll be rooting for him, but yeah, I got to pick Dallas. I mean, there's not much that I could, you know, from a logical standpoint that I could, really go with Washington more, but that hasn't stopped me in the past, Tim. But I'm still going to take Dallas, unfortunately.
Yeah, yeah, I'm gonna go with Dallas as well. I just think that they're the better team, and sometimes you just got to pick the better team instead of trying to convince yourself to pick the football team or the other team here. And then Monday
No.
Night Football, Joe, we actually do have a very interesting game here. We got the Miami Dolphins at the New Orleans Saints. The Dolphins are a 2-point favorite right now, and the over under is 37.5, Joe. So it's a little bit low. Ian Book, a rookie out of Notre Dame or second year guy out of Notre Dame, might be in line to start because the Saints just added Taysom
Yes.
Hill and Trevor Simeon to the COVID list. I don't know, obviously, their vaccination status. I don't know everybody off the top of my head if you're vaccinated or not, but who knows if they get a couple of negatives between now and Monday or whenever that deadline is. So it could be Ian Book. We got Tua and a Dolphins team playing some hot football right now. They are 500 going into Christmas. And I'm going to pick the Dolphins. I like them. I think that this defense, no matter who the quarterback is, they're going to come up with a good defensive plan. And we've seen Tua do just enough. And I think that's exactly what he's going to do. It's in a dome, neutral, weather and climate and everything like that. So you don't have to worry about potential quick rainstorm in Miami. So I'm going to go with the Dolphins in this one. And we'll see what happens with the Saints and their offensive issues or quarterback issues. Joe, thoughts on who's your pick Monday Night Football?
Yeah, I think I'm going with the Dolphins too. I mean, no Taysom, no Trevor Simeon, no Jameis. I mean, they're down to their fourth string quarterback. And despite it being, the great Ian Book out of the wonderful University of Notre Dame, who my wife Brooke always thinks is very fairly rated every single season in the top five because obviously they deserve to be in there, right, Brooke? Oh God, she's giving me that look again, Tim. Moving on.
Oh,
Yeah, it'll be an interesting game. I'm interested to see how Ian Book does look because there was some hype around him coming out in the draft, especially as the heir apparent to Drew Brees. But
mhm.
I don't know if he's got that NFL talent. That he doesn't have a lot of receivers to work with, so it's really going to have to be Alvin Kamara all game. So we'll see. I mean, this Dolphins team has definitely played a lot better than they started. Can they keep it up? I mean, eventually that streak has to end at some point, Tim. I'm hoping, but I'll take the Dolphins in this one as well.
I
Unfortunately, despite Ian Book being a baller out of a fantastic university.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be interesting, but I'm going to go with the Dolphins as well. And I do think that clock will strike midnight on their winning streak. They do play the Patriots. I don't know who they play in between next week, but either way, they're still in a good position to maybe make the playoffs. So we're going with the Dolphins on this one. And we are opposite on one, two, three, 4 games. We are opposite on 4 games, so potential for me to do that. A little bit of a recap, Joe. Your lock of the week is the Chargers on the road at the Texans. My lock of the week is the Buccaneers at the Panthers. Two roadies for our locks of the week. And my upset of the week is the Vikings at home against the Rams. And your upset is the Chicago Bears on the road at the Seattle Seahawks. But folks, and that's going to do it for this episode of the Flea Flicker. Joe, any final words?
I hope everyone has a wonderful Christmas. Unless you're a Cowboys fan, I hope yours is awful because you guys lost. No offense, but that's just honest. I'm just being honest. That would be a great Christmas present for me. But other than that, everyone stay safe. A lot of traveling. We'll be going to the bowl game the following week, so
Oh,
we're excited for that. I guess we'll miss you, all of our fans. While we have a little bit of a a hiatus, not recording on Christmas Day, unfortunately, believe it or not. So try to do all right without us. Fab, I know you're listening. Thanks for being a loyal listener. And thank you to all of our loyal listeners as we go into this new year.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you guys so much for your support and everything like that. Have a great Christmas and holiday season. May your fantasy team win your semifinal matchup, or maybe final, depending on how your league. I don't know, whatever. But generally, semifinals are this week. So if you are in there, hope you win. And then if you're playing somebody, hope the team that you're playing
Yeah.
loses.
Unless your name is Trent Hunter, then we all hope you lose and lose bad.
If you're a Cowboys or Steelers fan, hope your teams both lose, which one team is playing at the Kansas City Chiefs, so probably. But yeah, everybody, happy holidays, Merry Christmas. We'll see you sometime next week to either recap or make our picks like we have been doing the past couple of weeks for this holiday season. So just stay tuned. I don't know, we'll figure it out. But that's Joey D over there, and I'm Timmy B. Peace out, everybody. Merry Christmas.
If Trent wins, I will burn this place down.
I'm keeping that in.